Hello, and welcome to Hedgie English, a place where you can learn English simply in a relaxed way. Just watch, try to understand. Today we're starting another cartoon. The first one was Popeye, and this one is another famous figure from cartoons, old cartoons, called Woody Woodpecker. I have not watched this before, so hopefully there's nothing questionable, nothing that might cause some problems. But I also like the idea of being a little bit surprised. And now, of course, remember it's very old, so the picture quality isn't perfect. I apologize for that. Just try to see what you can. Let's start the video. So it starts with the credits. We hear an opening song, and we see remember, there's opening credits and closing credits, and these are opening credits. And it's for Universal Pictures, another film studio. Popeye was Paramount, this is Universal. And we see their name orbiting, kind of like a moon or a star, or circling a globe, a ball that looks like the Earth. More credits. So this is a Walter Lantz production. This is a producer who helped make the movie. A producer normally arranges things like money, finance, different where you go, things you do. A producer. Technicolor, that's the color process. And we see the credits. What are they on? What are the credits on? It looks like an easel. An easel. A palette. Not an easel, a palette. When you're painting, we see two paintbrushes here. When you're painting, you hold this thing that you mix paints on to get different colors. It's called a palette. You hold the palette, you mix the paints, and you get different colors. So this is a palette with two paintbrushes sticking through the hole and different paints, color paints on the edges. This is what they have the credits on. Then the title of the cartoon, which is Woody Woodpecker, that's the main character, in Pantry Panic. Pantry Panic. Pantry, a place where you keep food, where you store food. Kitchen is where you cook the food. Pantry is where you store the food. You keep it for some other time. Panic is like, what's going to happen? It's like sudden fear or being upset, not knowing what to do. Panic. And we see a pan, what looks like a pan underneath, and a handle for the pan. The music is very dramatic. It has kind of like a scattered note. It's like a emotional, dramatic music. The credits fade out. We fade to black and begin. We fade into what looks like a big village. You could call this an establishing shot in film terms. What is an establishing shot? Remember, a shot is just an image. It's what you see. Establishing, because it establishes, it shows you where we are. It shows you what the location is that this story is going to happen, is going to take place. Not just the location, but like the time, what time period. It establishes, it gives you the context of the story. So you're not confused. So the establishing shot of this town, zoom in. We can go back just to see it one more time. The credits. And the establishing shot, we fade into this town. We zoom and fade out. And we see a sign, Professor Weatherby Groundhog. Groundhog is a type of animal in America, actually. Every year we have a little tradition in my state. Maybe it's a national thing, where at the end of in winter, there is a groundhog named Punxsutawney Phil, and he comes out of his hole where he lives. Because groundhogs live in a hole, and I forget the exact process. But if Punxsutawney Phil comes out of his groundhog hole and sees his shadow or something, and goes back into the hole, it means that winter is going to be long. And if he doesn't, then it means winter will be short and spring will come earlier. I might be wrong in the exact details because I haven't thought about this since I was a child. But you can look it up, Punxsutawney Phil. Good luck spelling Punxsutawney. But groundhog in America, Groundhog Day. Yeah. So anyway, we have a sign, Professor Weatherby Groundhog, weather forecaster extraordinary. Weather forecaster, to forecast is to predict the weather. This is somebody who tells you what weather is going to happen that day or later. And we have what looks like weather forecasting instruments around. Some sort of thermometer, maybe for temperature, maybe for pressure here on the left, and then other instruments. And then a door in the ground, probably a groundhog door. We hear kind of the sound, pounding sound. The door swings open wildly, and a character comes out quickly, which looks like Professor Weatherby Groundhog. He looks like a groundhog. His feet are cycling, are windmilling, and there's kind of dust trailing behind him because he's going so fast. And he runs to the weather bulletin. Bulletin is like news bulletin. It's the news you get. So I guess here he tells the weather. And there's a bell. He puts a paper on the weather bulletin, on the board, the bulletin board, the place where you put the bulletins, the news. He puts a paper on it, and then he rings the bell. He pulls on a rope, and he rings the bell. The bell rings in time with the music we hear. Ding, ding. The music goes ding, 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 and the bell fits the music. We cut to the different buildings. Remember, cut is when we go from one image to another. Suddenly, we cut to the other buildings, and everyone pokes their head out. Then they all start coming out of their homes. They all come to the bulletin board, and they see the paper, they see the news that Professor Weatherby Groundhog has posted. We zoom in, we cut to the actual bulletin, to the news, and it says, Underground News Service, terrific cold wave. Interesting. In modern American English, almost always terrific means something good, really good. But in older times and in other languages like French and stuff, terrific can also mean really bad. So here, terrific cold wave. Cold wave is when there's a lot of like cold temperatures come, a cold wave. The weather is going to be very cold. So terrific cold wave, huge cold temperatures, headed this way, coming this way, headed this way, coming this way. All birds advised. So one thing to know is in news in English, they often leave words. They take out words that you don't need because they need to make things shorter because there's not much space in newspapers and stuff. So news English is kind of special because words are just taken out. So here, all birds advised, it's short for all birds are advised, are recommended. All birds should. All birds advised to go south at once. So remember, birds, the idea is birds fly south for the winter because it's warmer down there. So when winter comes, they fly south. So here, the groundhog, the professor, is telling birds, a cold wave is coming, go south. The birds are discussing it. It's an interesting voice work. So we go to a bird who is wearing heels, and she says, the weatherman is right. The weatherman is correct. We better go south right away. We'd better. We had better. It's like it's good for us. It's a construction which means we should. We'd better go south right away, immediately. The other birds agree. They, like a chorus, they chime in. You said it, which means you're right. It's kind of a set phrase for you're right. Winter's coming. They all speed away. We cut to a bird house. The bird runs in the door saying, winter's coming, winter's coming. So they pack up the house, they close the windows, they pull in, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse, but they pull in the chimney. Let's see one more time. They all rush away. So here in the top left is this chimney, this crooked chimney. Normally a smoke comes out of the chimney when you make a fire. And they pull in the flowers, they close the windows, or technically the shutters. I think these are called the shutters, these little doors for a window. They close the shutters and pull in the chimney. They pull in the chimney, run out of the house. They hang a sign on the house. That white thing is a sign which says gone for the winter. They're leaving for the winter. They hang it on a nail, and then they shut the door. Gone for the winter, and leave. So we're going to stop there. This is part 1. We have more coming up for you. More Woody Woodpecker in Pantry Panic. Please come back. I look forward to seeing you. Let's watch some more old cartoons. And I hope to see you again soon. Like, share, subscribe, share, like, subscribe, like, share. Join the Patreon. We'll do some stuff. We'll learn some English. See you again soon.